some editing done to it later. But I'm in studio this morning for online church, and sometimes it's difficult to get back. So I felt like I would go ahead and get this accomplished. As we begin the new year, first of all, Happy New Year to all of those who are part of Ministry Monday and the other things that we try to do at carltoncoon.com. And I appreciate the many of you who have made positive comments about my writing and other things that we've tried to do. That's always encouraging and appreciated. As we begin the new year, there are a couple of things that I would suggest you consider for your church. One is my little book, Personal Devotion, which is oriented to keep it simple, saints. Many people want to have daily time with God, but they really don't know how to practice that. If you'll go to the website, link will be below. You can get it if you're buying, I think it's 15 or more, they're discounted 15%. But anyway, take a look at that. There's also a blog post that I put up just a little bit back on how to start the new year right, some of the planning that needed to take place. And of course, the coronavirus has caused all of us to be very hesitant to schedule just a whole lot of different things. Also, in regard to keeping your new converts, Lane and I continue to work on improving the discipleship training course. It's a course on disciple making, and it is discounted to half price right now. Well, enough about all of that. I'm working on some other projects. Let me talk to you about what I have found to be an interesting topic. And I won't take long with this, but I'll work on it for several weeks here. I was reading a sports article in the St. Louis Post a few days back, and there's a Hall of Fame sports writer there by the name of Garrett Gould. And he mentioned in his article something that he called reader fatigue. And he quoted the Baseball Hall of Fame manager, Tony La Russa, as having said that after having managed the same team for 10 years, there comes what he called player fatigue, that the players are no longer listening to what he had to say, and his motivational approach and everything else simply was not working as well. And I think both of those illustrate the potential for any of us and our message to get stale to the place that the audience that is in front of us is no longer listening. And that's an interesting topic, because this particular forum, Ministry Monday, is really focused on preachers and pastors and evangelists. That's an interesting topic, audience fatigue, and it's one that we may well need to consider. Listening fatigue. Have you ever just got tired of listening to the same voice, the same timbre of voice, the same degree of passion, the same words used over and over? And again, everything the person may be saying is wonderful, but it simply is being fed to us in a way that doesn't capture our attention. We're a little bit like the mother who served her family chicken with wild rice for 21 days in succession. Well, it wasn't 21 days in before her family began to complain about that. Now, there's nothing wrong with chicken and wild rice, but enough can be enough at various times. Good question. Would I get tired of listening to myself? And there are times when probably I would. So what can we do to overcome audience fatigue? Well, the first thing that I use, and this doesn't work everywhere, and with a larger group, there are times when it won't work. Although I've seen Paul Mooney in camp meetings where there were thousands of people develop an interaction with the person or two in the audience that absolutely kept the audience on their toes. They stuck with him because he had engaged people in the audience. My approach is a little bit different. It can be that I have someone else do some of my Bible reading for me. I can have at times, and I've done this several times lately, where that a song that was scheduled for the service just fit within a particular place in my message. So I used a song in the middle of my sermon, or responsive reading, where I read a verse and then the audience reads a verse. I read a verse, the audience reads a verse, or the men read verse 1, the ladies verse 2, men, women. Again, everything that you're doing is creating different voices. You're bringing something that reduces audience fatigue. Now, this may not be comfortable for you, but I want to challenge you to just try it for a while. Just give it a chance. And it may surprise you how well it works. I'll give you one more that I use from time to time, and that is keep up with what you preach and teach. As preachers, we all have topics that we prefer, and we enjoy those topics and so forth and so on. But we can kind of reach a point where we've said it so often. I first heard Anthony Mangan say it, and then I read it in one of Warren Wiersbe's books. And that was to keep a record of what you had preached, and that there were certain topics that needed to be preached a couple of times each year. And I will make you an offer of a free checklist that you can download at carltoncoon.com to take advantage of that particular idea, because there are things, again, that I like to preach. And then there are things that if I don't keep a record of them, I will tend to not address those particular topics. So, a couple of things that can help in overcoming listener and audience fatigue. One is use different voices in your preaching and teaching, other people coming in. And then secondly, keep a record of what you've talked about. And both of those will serve to mean that you don't walk the same path over and over again. God bless you. Have a great new year. Look forward to seeing you next week with another Ministry Monday.